everyone. Welcome back to Guild Wars here on Versus Live by StarCityGames.com. I'm Todd Stevens. This is Ross Merriam. If you're just joining us, we just got done playing Boros against Golgari.
And my Golgari deck played out just like it designed. It died.
Okay.
That's what they like doing.
Yeah.
It's not coming back, though. It's not coming back.
That's a good point. That's what Golgari decks do.
That's what I expected to happen. That's what I wanted to happen. So just in case you thought I'm all disappointed that the Golgari deck wants to die, so it did.
The Boros deck, however, a pretty big different story. Yeah. One thing that a lot of people in the chat were talking about, though, which there is some validity to, is that a lot of your creatures died a Goblin Chain Whirler. It's something we've seen in the past. I don't know if Chain Whirler is actually going to see a lot of play, though.
I agree. I think with one of the things that you need to realize with a triple color costed card is that there needs to be a high density of good cards in that color to play around it. When Chain Whirler was printed, that density was there with Chandra and Glorybringer and all these other things, and Hazoret and a bunch of good removal. And with a lot of those cards rotating, the idea that we can just straight up build a competitive mono red deck is not a given. Maybe it shows up. And even if it does show up, it's not going to be in the same proportion that the red decks last season did. And it's fine to play one toughness creatures if one deck has like some Chain Whirlers and that deck's 5 to 7% of the metagame.
Do you think a black deck will kind of adopt Plague Mare as a pseudo Chain Whirler, like at least for sideboarding?
Either that or Golden Demise. Yeah. Those cards will still be around, but small aggro decks have succeeded in the face of those kinds of effects for years. So I don't think we're not going to see the same suppression of one toughness creatures that we saw.
No, not at all.
And as a result, I am playing a deck that makes a lot of one toughness creatures.
Okay.
So you're just selling the dream that Chain Whirler's bad, so your Celestia deck can be popular.
Yeah, I'm selling the dream to myself, though.
Yeah. So tell us about your deck. What are some of the new cards in your deck that you want to talk about?
So I am playing a Selesnya deck built around the Convoke mechanic. So it's a little awkward building around Convoke because you can't play too many Convoke cards. So the ones I'm playing are the ones that I think are the best. We've got Conclave Tribunal, which I think is far and away the best one, and one of the reasons to be enabling Convoke, because being able to double spell with creatures in that card and get a really powerful removal spell in your deck is really important. And then I am playing Loxodon. I just forgot the second name.
Is it like War Monk or something like that?
Well, we'll get when you start playing the cards. We'll pull all of them
remember
up on
the names
as they come up.
Venerated Loxodon. Yes, everyone loves him.
Yeah,
because elephants are great. So you get to Convoke with your cheap creatures and then pump them all up. I think that card's really good. And I've got one copy of March of the Multitudes that hopefully I can sink mana from Growing Rites of Itlimoc into.
Ooh, so that card is nice, especially with the Creature Sphinx's Revelation. This name I also forget, but that card seems nice.
Camaraderie.
Right.
Yes, which is my sideboard. So a lot of cool synergies here. We've got the Amara. And a lot of the good enablers, and so we'll see how it all comes together.
All right, Todd, what are you playing, buddy?
I got some Dimir. So this deck is based around Jadine Klomperren's article from this week, where she talked about how good Lazav, the multifarious, yes, the multifarious is. So and it's like words.
So can't just be nefarious. It has to be multifarious.
Right. So we'll see how this goes. Basically, we have a lot of creatures that don't really have the enter the battlefield effects, because Lazav can copy creatures in your graveyard, but copying a creature with an enter the battlefield effect doesn't work too well. But if you have creatures that have stuff like Hexproof, Flying, and Death Touch, we got like one of those. That's like a really good thing to copy. Or creatures that like have abilities whenever they hit the opponent, like whenever they deal combat damage to an opponent. So it can like. Basically, it's a really hard card to deal with in combat, because if you have the options to be able to copy many different creatures, you can kind of change its power, toughness, and abilities during combat. And so that's really cool. And it's just a 2-drop that surveils 1. Looks like a pretty powerful mythic. So that's what I have my deck built around.
It gives you a little value, blocks against aggressive decks, plunks in there a little early, and then becomes this really good late game threat. I really like the 3-drop here, the Night Veil Spectre clone in this deck. I think that card's just really powerful. Night Veil Spectre is a card that used to attack with it a few times and not really do anything. This card is going to get you a lot of value immediately every time it connects.
Right, because you're looking at 3 cards, not just 1. So you get 3 cards. You get to like really like dig pretty deep. You get to basically anticipate every time it connects.
So I'm really hoping I make more soldier tokens with lifelink than you do.
Okay.
That's really my goal. As long as I make more than Todd.
That may not happen.
I know. It may not. You're a lot luckier than I am.
All right, should we do the 5s game?
The 5s game?
Yeah, so we got 5 guilds and Guilds of Ravnica. So the closest to the number 5.
Okay, let's do
a
it.
Roll. All right. I got a 4.
I have a 7, so
Four is
you beat me by
closer.
1.
All right. So I'll go ahead and be on the play here.
All right, you'll notice that there are only 5 guilds in Guilds of Ravnica, but we have 3 matches today. The 6th deck, currently unknown.
little spicy brew. Todd is the one who built that deck.
Yeah. I wanted to. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So our hand here, we got 3 lands, 4 spells. We got some early stuff. This is certainly going to be a keep over on our side.
Yeah, I've got some early stuff and really good mana, so I'll keep.
All right, Swamp, go.
As we play new cards, we're going to try to get those on the screen for y'all as best as possible and announce them as we play them, just to be very clear about what's happening.
I'm going to play the flower half of Flower Flourish, which I think is an underrated aspect of Selesnya. We've seen between Attune with Aether and Traverse the Elven Wall, these Lay of the Land type effects with some value in the late game be really good, and the Flourish half is going to be really good when you draw it late and have this board of 1/1 tokens.
That's a good point.
Attune with Aether was banned, so this card could get banned.
And you can go Plains and have Attune with Aether, like with Plains. You know,
Plains
it's Lay
find
of the
Forest
Land.
or Forest find Plains, so it works regardless
Usually you
of
have to
what your
have
hand looks
green.
like.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love that card. I think it's very good.
Well, I'm going to play Thought Eraser. Yeah, so I was underrating that card. That looked really good here. So Thought Eraser, target you, so I get to
That's
reveal
actually
your
really
hand.
good. I only have 1 2-drop here, so Todd gets to poke a hole in my curve if you'd like to, or take
All
one of
right,
my
so-
more powerful cards.
So this is the 2-drop. What do we have on 3? So we have Borderland Ranger. We have Growing Rights. Yeah, that thing convokes in, and okay, I know that one. Yeah,
Important
I think
to note with Thought Erasure real quick, you do make them discard before you surveil. The last time I had it in a deck, I actually surveilled first, and I think that is technically illegal because you're supposed to choose
first,
before you get that information.
Yeah, I have no removal for that. That's just going to tap and start making creatures, so I definitely have to take that. And so then we don't need another land, so that's going to go to the graveyard. All right, go ahead.
Okay, let's do the old Thoughtseize trick here and just draw another copy of Amara.
That's how it always works, right? It didn't work this time.
Except right now.
Yeah. Womp, womp.
It don't work. Okay, tap Temple Garden.
Okay.
Send it back.
Amara Soul Accord is one of the stronger 2-drops in the set. How do you think it affects just your general gameplay and how your deck functions, Ross?
I think it is a critical aspect of the deck, and I think the games where you have this on turn 2 and untap with it are completely different than the games where you don't.
I've seen people compare it to cards like Bitter Blossom and how it just turbocharges your deck when you have it on turn 2. Do you agree that is a decent comparison?
Yeah, I think in terms of what it does and supercharging your deck, like you said, I think that's a perfect comparison. Not as powerful as Bitter Blossom by itself, but still very good. You just went to 18 there?
Yep, so I just
surveil
did
the bones?
Yep, I did Notion Rain, Surveil 2, Draw 2, kept 1 on top, drew 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So very similar to Read the Bones, Notion Rain is a card that a lot of people have talked about just because Read the Bones has been in multiple standard formats. Scry arguably worse than Surveil, especially when you have graveyard-related abilities.
Okay, so District Guide coming in here.
Okay. I declined to put a gate into this deck because I don't think the mana needed it. And here I'll just find a Plains, which is way better anyway. My mana's great.
Now, District Guide also just functioning a lot like Borderland Ranger and Civic Wayfinder even in previous standard formats. It's one of the better cards in the set, I think, just because of how consistent it makes your green decks.
You playing 4 Thought Erasers over there?
I think I have 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. I think I have 2.
Nice.
So I'll take that.
Tristani, no!
So then we'll Surveil 1, Thief of Sanity. That's a cool card. I think I'm just going to put that in my... Well, maybe I just want to draw this. I kind of want this in my... So I want Thief of Sanity in my graveyard for the Lazav, because we're playing Lazav this turn. So I kind of want this in my graveyard to be able to copy, but I also just kind of want to be able to cast it. No, I think we're just going to copy it next turn. So let's just put it here in the graveyard and pass the turn.
Okay. Well, now my District Guide can't attack Nilzov, which is fine because my plan might have just changed. Yeah, that was a good draw, and I think it means I'm just going to cast it instead. But first I'll attack.
Is it a bluff? Does he have it?
I think this is a pretty free block.
Is it?
I think so.
Are you sure?
No?
Yeah, that's the point.
Don't know the cards that well in this set. Kind of want to just block this.
Oh, real quick, Todd Stevens, you forgot to surveil from Lazov. These new cards.
Oh, yeah,
have a lot of text on
Lazov
them.
comes
We
in
need to
and
make sure
surveils. That's a good point.
We do that.
He's surveilled enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
All
got to
right,
fill up his
this is a
graveyard
good
for
card.
Lazov.
I want to keep on top. And actually, with that makes me want to take this hit. So I'm going to take the hit.
Got him.
See, that information changes things.
You're at
Thanks
16.
for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Whoever pointed that out, thanks. I wanted that free 2 damage.
Ice Cold. A couple people did, but Ice Cold, Zam 2992, and Dead Dove Do Not Eat.
History Benalia.
Okay.
Get a night. Pass the turn.
Okay. So I'm going to make this the Thief Sanity, make it flying, and hit you for 2.
Yeah, I got 18.
You go to
You
18.
get to look at the top 3. The other 2 go on the bottom in a random order.
Wow.
Or no, I got to read the other card.
These were all great. Wow.
Oh, the rest go to my graveyard.
All these cards are great.
That's
So
interesting.
you're going to see these. Oh, wait. I want to show you them. I'll show you which one I take. Yeah, I'll just take that. All right. You know,
Oh no, March of the Multitudes was the card I most wanted to draw.
One
Good.
cool thing about Thieves of Sanity, even if Thief of Sanity leaves the battlefield, you still get to cast the card whenever you want to, I believe.
Yes, that is my
Much like
understanding as
Night
well.
Spectre. But
So, cool thing we're about to do here is that we can actually double spell. I'm going to attack with 1 night.
yeah, one of the Vigilance ones. So I'm down to
Yeah.
14.
Yep, bring it to 14.
Because you want to be able to convoke and put
Then I'm
counters
going
on
to play
stuff.
Growing Rights of Iltmok and trigger it. You just get a creature, so not many great options here. Todd took all the good cards off the top of my deck, like a jerk. Rest in the bottom in any order, that's fine. But
I will say Vigilance and History Banal in general look pretty sweet with the Convoke cards.
Yep, you get to attack and then convoke. It's really good
attack
with
to you.
Conclave Tribunal, where you can attack and then still
Convoke
be
this
allowed to-
venerated, locks it on, get counters on these 3 things.
Wow.
And then I go to my end step, I have 4 creatures, and I transform this.
Yep.
So this is why I really wanted to draw that March.
Yeah.
I got a lot of mana here.
That would have been a really nice card to have last turn. Kind of wish I put this Bloodfest in the graveyard now.
Before he generated 20 power.
So that felt pretty good.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to have 17 points attacking next turn.
Good turn.
So let's draw my card. Let's get this thing down. So these things are big.
So the sideboard says, so Surveil is great, but Explore was bad, question mark? I don't think either of those things are true. I think Surveil is just like Scry, and you just have to compare different abilities, based on what they do.
Okay, I'll make 4 green. Play District Guide with a green
The cards that had Explore were creatures that didn't end up being as impactful because of they were just better. They were just basically better cards that went over the top of it, better creatures that did. And so that's why the Explore cards never really took off. These are spells that interact with the opponent and also have Surveil, which should be pretty good. It's kind of hard to hold that back as much. Like cards like Hazoret, Scarab God can hold back a Jade Light Ranger quite a bit, but it's kind of hard to hold back a Thoughtseize.
The only creature in your graveyard is the one you copied, right?
Correct.
So none of those Death Touch things. So I think Todd's just playing removal spells here.
I think that's a fair bet.
Regardless, I wonder what he got out of my deck. There's not a lot in my deck at instant speed. It's really just the March. So he probably just got some creature that he wants to cast the turn after this. Probably hit the second Tristani Discordant because that's the best thing he could have hit, and it's Todd. So,
Why?
but that would be a bad thing for him
you saying
to.
that Todd Stevens is very, very lucky?
You think I would have just cast it right here?
I
Why
don't
not?
think you really want to cast that one though, and give me a Tristani Discordant at the end of the turn.
Why would you get it at the end of turn?
Have you read the last line of the card?
Oh, because of that part. Right.
So that's probably not a card you would put under this. Regardless, I think we just want to deal with what he has in play. So use the green floating and play Conclave Tribunal.
I want to say I think Lazov looks pretty great here, just as a 2-mana creature that's kind of holding a bunch of stuff back and is basically forcing removal because the threat of copying a large blocker is
Attack for 17
a big deal.
because he's got big.
think
All
Conclave
right, I'm going to
Tribunal is
contempt
the
one of those.
just a
Okay, so you go
huge
to
pickup for a lot of these.
16,
Yep.
and then you take 12. So this is 5, 3, and 4.
Yep.
Brings you to 4.
Yikes.
Okay, pass the turn.
Flip that. Ugh.
Man, and now I can just draw the lay of the land, and it's +2/+2 to my team.
Yeah.
It's just like an actively excellent draw.
It's not Lay of the Land, Ross. You have one in your graveyard. Say the full name of the card.
Flower.
There we go.
Lay of the flower.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah, especially with the transformed card, the Growing Rights of Ilmok.
No,
You know.
I'm just dead on board. I can't do anything.
What do you got?
I have a Dream Eater that doesn't save me. That thing I just drew, an Essence Scatter, and a Murder.
Yeah, Dream Eater, like bounce this block here, take 5.
Yep.
And if you had another mana, you could have sacrificed it and stayed alive for a turn.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to draw another land there. I never really got to the Dream Eater.
Yeah, but even then, like you would bounce a thing and then you wouldn't trade. You would just deal with the other token.
Yeah, drawing the history when you did was insane.
Oh yeah.
Scooter222 says, should we call Ross the new mayor of Valuetown?
So election coming in November. You can all vote then.
All right. Well, we're going to be going to sideboarding, so we'll be back here in just a couple minutes. All right. Welcome back, everybody. We are still getting a little sideboarding. It looks like, Ross, looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
good.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
Okay, so on my side, I've identified the cards I want. I think Deathcourt Scavenger is going to be great here at limiting the options of Lazav out of Todd's deck while just being a reasonable creature. So it's going to come in. The Vivians are going to be quite good against Todd's Flyers, as well as a Planeswalker against a more controlling deck to generate card advantage. And I'm going to try out this one, Dawn of Hope, because I think it's cool. And it's a really good mana sink in the late game. Blue-black decks typically struggle against enchantments, so I think it's a good singleton to have. And then I'm bringing out Shauna, which I think is my weakest card in the matchup. I'm expecting Todd to bring in a lot more removal, and this is a card that's really good when all of your stuff is on the battlefield. It gets really big, but in this matchup, I don't expect it to be big as often. I'm trimming one Venerated Loxodon because I'm bringing in 2 other 4s, and this is another card that's good if I already have a bunch of stuff. And then I'm trimming a land here on the draw. If you notice there in game 1, I was a little bit flooded. I've got 22 lands, 4 Llanowar Elves, 4 District Guides, and 4 Flowers. So that might be a few too many mana sources. We've got a lot of mana sinks, but I think on the draw I can safely trim a land. On the play, I might bring it back in.
Okay, cool. Over on my side, things we're bringing in are pretty obvious. We have some cheap removal for like the 2-drop that we took with our first Thoughtseize or for Llanowar Elves. Same with Ritual Suit is just going to be an all-star in this matchup. This may be just like a card that we need like more of in the sideboards or main deck of these black mid-range decks with like these Boros and Selesnya decks being able to go so wide. And then Ross has a lot of really big heavy hitters on the top end. I think Disdainful Stroke would be a pretty important counterspell. For taking out is kind of difficult. I don't think Nightvale Predator is going to be as useful in this matchup where Death Touch, whenever Ross is going wide, Death Touch isn't nearly as important. And same with Hexproof, doesn't really have a ton of interaction. So don't think I really need that. And with that, and with bringing in a Ritual Suit, I'm going to be cutting a couple of the Lazavs as well. And then just one large creature and a Discovery.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit cheaper, a little more controlling.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense.
All right.
All right, we got some questions here from Twitch chat. Snow Jiggles asked, why no search for Ascanta in your deck?
It's like your favorite card ever. Todd has tried to put this card into a deck with like 4 spells in them.
I personally would be putting Search for Ascanta in this deck because I like that card. But like I said, we were going with Jadine's deck. We're just made a couple of very small changes to Jadine's deck and added a sideboard mostly. But in her article, she wrote that she liked Argos Bloodfast in these kind of decks more because it's a card that can help stabilize you like whenever you get to transform it, and just like the raw card advantage when you're playing creatures and stuff more than what Search for Ascanta can do.
All right, Namzi asked for Ross, why no green white Whatley?
So I just don't think that card's very good.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah. Yeah, you only have 75 slots, and if that's not
I'm not trying to get super aggressive here with this deck, and I'm trying to build really big battlefields. And you saw there, I made the 1 2-point attack that I could early into a 1/3, and then I took a turn off from attacking to really cast my my big spell, I got to attack with the one night token because it had vigilance. But even if it didn't, I wouldn't have attacked with it because I wanted to double spell. And then once I got my battlefield set up, I was cracking in for 17. I didn't need Watley.
Yeah, that's fair. Don Vito asks, Todd, what do you think about playing one Bone Dragon in your deck?
I don't hate it. Bone Dragon's a pretty cool card. I don't know if it's better than other things at 5. I do like being able to cast it from the graveyard and everything, or put it back onto the battlefield. But I think that kind of goes with the same kind of slots that Dream Eater would, and I am much more high on Dream Eater. I think Dream Eater's
Dream Eater.
Yeah, I think that's a very good card.
All right, one more quick question. Why did you change the subject so quickly when I said that Ross is the new mayor of Value Town?
I was done with that game. I was ready to go.
Somebody's not preparing for the election in November. Getting a little overconfident.
Whatever.
I'm pounding the pavement. I'm knocking on doors. I'm kissing babies.
So our hand over here is pretty bad, but we have lots of lands, and so I think that's going to be just fine. We have one Surveil card, so.
Well, I don't have lots of lands, and I'm sending that one back.
Okay.
I had a forest and 2 history Benalias.
Ugh.
All right, keep asking questions, chat. I'm going to try to hit them whenever they're shuffling, whenever we have any sort of downtime, and I'm sure they would love to hear from you.
A history Benali card looks pretty strong. I don't know if we've known that card is good or not. That one looks pretty strong.
It's looked very strong in both matches so far.
Yeah.
The second Aki says, I'd be jamming Hostage Taker for sure. Do you think Hostage Taker would be good in your deck? Yes?
Yeah, actually, that could be pretty sweet. Hostage Taker does have the enter of the battlefield effect that's not good with Lazav, but it's just a really strong card. So, yeah.
I think Hostage Taker suffered a lot from a Braid being the premier removal spell, and if we move away from 2 mana, deal 3 damage removal, then it gets a lot better.
Yeah. Well, we'll still have like Lightning Strike. That's going to be
going to see as much play as a Braid. I don't think so.
Sin and Sage asked Ross, why Disregard over Elvish Rejuvenator? I'm guessing the land is really important versus all the other abilities.
Well, Rejuvenator sometimes misses one, which is horrific if it ever does. The guaranteed land is important when you need to fix your mana, so you can definitely get a second plains if you need it, or definitely get a second forest, or even the first plains. So the guaranteed fixing is really important, and then the difference between a 1/1 and a 2/2 is actually quite big.
Yeah,
and you saw there when I'm getting counters on things and they become 3/3s, they now profitably attack into a lot more of what Todd's doing.
You're not really a graveyard based deck either, right? And that doesn't. Oh no, that one puts them on the bottom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, 2/2 is just twice as big as a 1/1, and it's much more valuable.
Okay, well this 6 looks great. I've got excellent mana and a strong opening curve, so I'm going to keep this. I get to scry Todd. Just getting ahead of yourself. This is an interesting decision. I think with the way Todd's built his deck, I'm actually going to keep this one, expecting it to. No, actually, thing is, if the first copy dies, I'm not going to follow up with the second copy, so I'm actually going to bottom.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, one more quick question. Ice Cold 89 asks, how do you feel Misinformation compares to Read the Bones? Sorry. No, the question is asked really poorly.
Yeah, but
sorry, Misinformation versus the Surveil Read the Bones. I forget the.
Okay, so which one? Yeah, so that's Notion Rain. What's Misinformation?
Notion Rain versus Misinformation, I believe, is the Snapcaster card.
That's Mission Briefing.
The Mission Briefing. Maybe I'm messing all these cards up. That's my.
Yeah, I'm not sure which card Misinformation is.
Well, if they're talking about Mission Briefing, I think Mission Briefing is super overrated.
Yeah, it's just not that good of a card.
And Notion Rain is excellent. You just got all.
All right, I'm going to go.
Yeah, you should take your turn.
I'm sorry. Bad question.
Thoughtseize.
My fault.
This was literally the only thing that could punish me, and Todd only has 2, but has them on turn 2 every time. Once again,
Misinformation is the enchantment. Whenever it enters the battlefield, your opponent discards a card and you draw a card.
Yeah, I had a second.
And then when you surveil, it returns to your hand.
Your hand's still great. I have to take history, Benali. I can't beat history.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead.
I'll play Amara.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Oh, Surveil 1, sorry. And I do want to keep that on top because that's a pretty good answer to Amara. So we'll draw that. Take away Amara.
Got a land there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to play District Guide, continue making my land drops, get a forest, and pass the turn.
I'm going to use my mana and cast down, even though we know that Ross has a better target and cast down with Scavenger, or Deathgorge Scavenger. Yikes. Our deck's not helping us. All right, go ahead.
That's a good sign. That's what I like to hear. Gotta strike back in these guild wars. I'm already down.
Yeah. My not feeling too confident about this one.
I mean, that's going to happen a lot with new archetypes and new decks. You're going to find yourself, stumbling a bit in some scenarios, but that's just natural.
Yep, that was
District Guide. I want to keep making my land drops.
Ross has tons of cards that are 2-for-1s, and I just don't have cards that are 2-for-1s. I need to be finding something that's going to be getting me more value than just 1-for-1.
I think I want to get a Plains here, because if I draw another history, I can double spell with white cards. So I'll get a Plains and pass the turn. That's actually a place where I would have liked to get a Gate, because I could not have played my land first, just play District Guide, play the Gate tapped, but I don't think it really matters.
Good.
Just playing lands, doing nothing.
That's all I got.
Okay, well, I'm going to attack for 2.
18.
And I'm going to play a Deathgorge Scavenger.
Okay.
And then I'll play this Plains and this Amara.
Do you want to target someone with that?
Yeah, let's exile a spell. I don't think it matters. I'm going to do the cast down, actually, in case you have Mission Briefing in your deck.
Okay.
You can go. No counter spells, nothing?
I guess instead I'll murder that thing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In a world of trying to 1-for-1 with your deck, Todd, what kind of card advantage spells do you think you could play to recoup that card advantage against things like District Guide or History of Benalia?
Yeah, so I kind of need like the sweeper effects would be really nice here. Besides that, like if I actually had Argo's Bloodfast this game, Bloodfast would be really good just to be able to help giving me more things. Or one of my big creatures like the new 6/6 that has Surveil 2. That'd be like a really nice card just to be able to have like a huge blocker that I could basically set up my draw steps.
Dream Whisperer?
Yeah, Doom Whisperer. Yeah,
Doom Whisperer.
Yeah, so that would be another one that I'd be looking for now.
Todd has the 6-mana 4/3 here. He could eat the District Guide.
Real quick, what did Cast Down target earlier?
District Guide.
District Guide.
Okay, someone in chat said that they thought it targeted the Amara, but it's non-legendary.
The 2 Amaras died to the Deadweight and the Murder.
Correct.
So do I want to not attack the District Guide in case Todd has it? I think it's fine for now. I don't think this game is ending super quickly, so I'll just attack with this and exile the Murder. So it's a 4/3.
All right, I will take 4.
Brings you to 14.
Yep. I
will play another Deathgorge Scavenger. This time I'm going to exile a creature of mine.
Okay.
So leave the Deadweight there. Just gain 2 life, go to 22.
Okay.
All right, real quick. Todd, the card that was mentioned earlier is actually called Disinformation Campaign. It's a 3-mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and your opponent discards a card. And then whenever you surveil, I believe you can return it to your hand. So it's a recursive 2-for-1. In a deck with a lot of surveil, do you think that might be something you would want?
Yeah, I think that's just going to be too slow over Read the Bones, the new over the Notion Rain. I'm a pretty big fan of the Surveil to draw 2.
Exile the 2 spells in your yard, attack for 10.
Contempt that. So
you go to 16,
and then I'll take 6, go to 10.
Yep.
So I can't trade with my Thief Sandy because I'm going to need my Thief Sandy to hopefully find a good spell off the top of Ross's deck next turn.
Yeah, I think the way Todd gets back into this game is by getting good spells off the top. But if he draw, so I have 2 really good cards in my hand. I'm not exactly sure which one I should play.
Must be nice.
This one stops the Thief of Sanity, but if Todd draws like removal spell and then
Ross, just play your Vivian Reed and kill his flyer.
Oh, that's what this card does.
Yes, come on. Hashtag RTC. This is G-rated, so I can't
even better.
say RT.
Now Todd's just dead.
XC.
Kill that.
See?
Go.
That's fine. You're still very dead.
Yep.
Plus this, top 4.
Yeah, I ran into this very similar situation, Stevens, whenever I play Izzet decks where my opponent plays a bunch of threats that generate a card every time that I kill something. And I kind of run out of gas sometimes.
Yep, that'll happen, for sure.
Let's play Shalai and then convoke out this Venerated Loxodon, get counters on both of them, and pass the turn. Is that good? Do I want that? What are you, 10?
Yep.
That doesn't seem like enough.
That's not.
What do I want to do? Let's think about this for a second. First, we'll plus this. We'll get our value.
Hey, I might have a response. Hey, I was going to respond. I was going to field ruin your land. I didn't want you to get that Tristani Discordant. Wow, you don't even care. I had a response here.
Yeah, I don't care at all.
Wow.
Then I'm going to District Guide.
Quick question. How many cards are in your hand, Todd?
I have
Tristani.
0.
I'm gonna get two.
Right.
I'm gonna get 2 Aaron Barrett soldiers, but they have lifelink.
I wish I could fast forward this.
And
That's live TV. Ross just gets to take over the whole program.
Yep. And I'll attack
I'll take it.
for 14.
So you were playing Jadine's main deck with the sideboard you put together, right, Todd?
I think it changed like 3 cards in the main deck.
We added some
Maybe
discoveries.
4 cards.
I've had
added discovery to try to get some better, like just kind of smooth out the draws.
I've had very similar experiences playing Jerry Thompson's early brews with new sets, so I feel your pain quite a bit.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I think the Jadine built a good deck. You know, like I liked playing. You know, if I didn't think the Jadine's deck was good, I would have built my own deck. But I liked your deck, so I played it. But you know, like sometimes your deck just gives you a lot of lands, and that's just what happened there.
That's true.
So,
Okay, let's limit on that then.
yeah,
I had a lot of lands at the end of those games too.
Well, yeah,
I
District Guide
searched them out of my deck because their lands are great.
yeah. District Guide is a really good card.
Let's keep
That's a
the
really
same
underrated.
structure we had. Let's talk to the person who got pummeled first.
All right. Yeah, so this Dimir deck.
Mhm.
So you feel like trading 1-for-1 maybe not the best idea unless you have a lot of ways to recoup card advantage. We don't have something like a Sphinx's Revelation or a huge card advantage spell to really bring those resources back. What do you think the Dimir decks can do in order to fight this?
I think the 2-mana enchantments are just incredibly good and valuable. I only had 1 Bloodfast in there. I had the other Bloodfast on the board. Jadine had both Bloodfast in the main. You know, that's something. But I think just Bloodfast and Searcher's Cantos, like those are just cards those 2 cards are just very good.
If only there was a
And-
Selesnya card I could play that destroys enchantments. Maybe gain some value that I would bring in that case.
Are you talking about Vivian Reed? Because that's what Vivian Reed does too.
Yeah.
Clearly, you don't know what the card does, Ross.
I've never minded it before.
All right. So as far as the removal package or the creature package is concerned, are there any Dimir cards you're looking forward to specifically to try out in the archetype?
Yeah, so for those, Hostage Taker could be an option, but I really like Dream Eater completely. I don't like Murder whatsoever. I'm playing the 2 Murders. I wanted to get them out of the deck, but Ross just said I had to keep them in. I think if the Murders
Scumbag Ross.
if the Murders were the sweeper, I think that would be a lot better. That sweepers look like it's basically looked like it would have been really good all the time. The 4-mana destroy
Even
the
Golden
creatures.
Demise would have been pretty good.
Yeah,
too.
or even Gold Demise or something. I think when you I'm already playing 4 Vraska's Contempts and I have like some cast downs and stuff. I just don't think Murder is a good card. I think we just don't need more 1-for-1s at all.
Real quick, did you consider Dimir Spybug as a way to give you a big advantage every time you surveil? It gets a +1/+1 counter as a big 2-mana threat.
I think that's just a worse card than the Lazav or the 2-mana enchantments. I think that's where you want to be on your 2-mana curve.
Sure.
And Thought Erasure is another.
Yeah, and
2-mana
Thought
thing.
Eraser. Yeah.
I think the deck is a little bit caught right now in between being a control deck and a more aggressive leaning mid-range deck, and I'd like to see it push towards the more aggressive end. I'd like to see we had them in the sideboard, the 3/1 lifelinker.
Yeah, that's definitely a card that could be pretty good in this kind of deck.
Yeah, Blood Operative.
Yeah,
I think that card could be very good, and like you top your curve at Doom Whisperer, so you've got a lot of good aggressive elements, and then really scale down the cost of your removal. Maybe play main deck Deadweights or some other 1-mana removal spell, and try to be more of an aggressive tempo-oriented deck that can generate card advantage with the 3-mana flyer and generate
with that and
with
Doom
Blood
Whisperer.
Operative and Doom Whisperer. So you can generate advantage if you need to, but you can also get really aggressive. The lifelink will help you race a bit.
yeah. And if you're going that way, then that 2-mana creature they were saying that would definitely be where you want to be.
I'm a huge fan of the bug. I think it's really good with Doom Whisperer. It's almost combo-y. Like if you play Doom Whisperer at 20 life, you can spend a bunch of life and just pump it up, you know, real big for a couple of swings. One quick question from Twitch chat about the Dimir deck. Do you think it can hold its own, or do you think you're going to end up needing to splash green for like Vraska Relic Seeker, or just some other color to give it more of a punch in a late game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do think that the third color is probably going to be worth it. With Dimir, it is so if you want to go aggressive, like how Ross was talking about, you don't want to splash a color because you don't want to be stumbling at all. But if you're playing a more controlling deck with a lot more removal and everything, then you can. Some options that you can splash. It's pretty easy to splash white. for Teferi if you want, because Teferi is just a messed up card, so you can't do that. Or the Grixis mana base actually works really well if you're blue heavy, with having 2 shock lands where you can go Grixis and have Nicol Bolas and then have whatever other red cards.
Yeah, I mean,
I tried making the Grixis deck at first for this video. That's what I was going to do, but I didn't really, because I like Nicol Bolas, but I didn't really like a lot of the other red cards along with it, and so then I just went with Jadine's Dimir deck.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to say, like, splashing Teferi is something that you think you could do, but then when you look at the lands you have access to, we don't have Orzhov yet. We don't have Azorius yet. So we don't have Hallowfountain or Godless Shrine, and splashing that specific color is a lot harder than splashing red for, like, Nicol Bolas, because we get Steam Vents, the other one, Blood Crypt.
Right. Yeah, red and green are the easier colors to splash based on the mana that we have available. But, if Teferi is what you need to be a controlling deck, I think splashing Teferi off of the check lands is
you do have
doable.
Glacial Fortress and Isolated Chapel.
Yeah, it is possible you just want green with Vraska Relic Seeker, because that card's incredibly good too, and you can have Assassin's Trophy then also.
All right, quick question for Ross. The Vivian Reed looked really good. Do you think Vivian Reed is going to be a very powerful sideboard card for basically every green deck in Standard?
Yes, 100%. Not only is it the classic 5-mana Planeswalker that gains a lot of advantage, which has typically been good out of the sideboard. This is a deck that wants a critical mass of things. You've got a lot of powerful high-end creatures to find in the late game. And then the -3 ability is good against a lot of the cards that more controlling decks are going to use against you to go over the top. It kills Lyra Dawnbringer. It kills the various transform enchantments, Search for Azcanta, Arguel's Bloodfast.
Doom Whisperer.
It can kill opposing Conclave Tribunals if they're a white-based control deck. It'll kill Doom Whisperer as well. Yeah, another good point. So those are the permanents that you really do need to kill, and it kills all of them, and its +1 ability is excellent. So I do think Vivian Reed is going to be really important. I think that this deck looked really good. Cards that were particularly impressive to me were Flower to Flourish. I saw like the early Flower was excellent. I never drew it when it was late, but I got
at any point if you had drawn it, it would have been
it was going to be excellent, and that's a good sign. So we're not playing enough games where you're going to see it all the time. It's important to be cognizant of, is this card really good to draw here? And it would have been. Growing Rites of Illichmok, the one time I drew it, I transformed it immediately.
Right.
So that was really good. History of Benalia, which we knew was excellent, but the synergy between Vigilance creatures, making multiple tokens, and Convoke is just absurd.
Right.
And I honestly think that in the early days of this Standard format, I'm going to be registering for this card every week.
Yeah. The Flower was much more impressive than I thought. I didn't think it would be that good. But all right, so that's going to be round 2 here. We got one more match to go. We're going to be playing Izzet against a
mystery deck.
A mystery deck.
We're not going to reveal it until we get to that video. Okay. I'm going to be playing an Izzet deck, so Todd's going to be rooting for me from the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
That
obviously.
Solidarity. Mine's more aggressive than the one you saw Todd play last week. His was more controlling. I'm going aggro with We Dragonauts and the new Phoenix. And some burn spells and cheap cantrips. So we'll see if I'm able to take down Todd's mystery deck as the last guild represented here on Guild Wars.
There we go. So we'll be back in 10 once we get that all set up. So stick around and we'll see you back in a minute.